Saturday.
Welcome to your worst nightmare.
It's happened.
I just never thought anything like this was possible.
I have to get to Dallas, Josh.
There is no Dallas.
I'm looking for my son.
Is anyone here?
Asteroid, the cosmic drama, next Saturday, 8:15.
This wee laddie's got some growing to do, but I know he'll end up tall and true, because he's getting all the goodness of the pure whole wheat that goes into his favourite breakfast, shredded wheat. So he'll end up like his granddad, solid on his feet.
Shredded wheat is made only from 100% pure whole wheat, simply shredded and baked till it's crisp, golden,
And just the way we like it.
shredded wheat in bite size. There's only wheat in shredded wheat.
Starting this Sunday, the Sunday Telegraph begins a 6-part commuter's guide. We'll tell you all about the most picturesque towns and villages, the best schools, and the most desirable property. If you want to know more about your area or are looking to move, The Great Escape makes essential reading. Part 1 free only with the Sunday Telegraph, Britain's fastest growing Sunday paper.
At Specsavers, we believe it's how you feel about your spectacles that matters. So choose 2 stylish pairs and pay for just 1. Specsavers Opticians.
Formula One on Meridian.
Pressure's my friend. The first race is always the most exciting because you don't know who's going to be quick and who's not going to be quick. It's a real buzz. You know, you're racing with someone and you're really trying hard to get ahead of them. The whole lifestyle's good. Obviously, you get paid reasonably well and you can have a few nice toys because of that. I'm an angel. That says it all, really.
I'm sorry if I've wasted your time, Doctor.
No, of course not.
Mistakes can be made.
It happens.
2 other doctors, not to me.
You put my son's life at risk.
This is very dangerous ground.
You don't frighten me, you and your medical mafia.
Peak Practice, Tuesday at 9 on Meridian.
From the studios of ITN, the news and sport, with Carol Barnes and Phil Mepham.
Welcome to the programme. The headlines tonight. Albania on the brink of chaos as the government resigns. Blair's plans for a Labour budget. The Tories say it's tax and spend.
And in sport, France destroy England's hopes of a Grand Slam at Twickenham.
Albania appears tonight to be on the brink of anarchy after the worst violence in weeks of unrest. Clashes left 9 dead overnight, and opposition leaders claim the south of the country is out of control. Tonight, Albania's president announced that the government is to resign, but already opponents say that's not enough and he must go too. It follows escalating public anger over the collapse of investment schemes. Our diplomatic editor Robert Moore reports.
Anti-government protesters have been out in force in the southern city of Vlora, and the unrest is gathering pace, pushing Albania towards anarchy. The security forces have long ago abandoned their positions here, leaving gunmen and protesters to rule the streets. A convoy of military trucks was also attacked, the protesters setting light to the vehicles. What began as bitterness over the collapse of fraudulent investment schemes has turned into anti-government violence. But the Prime Minister's resignation may solve nothing. The charges of corruption are also aimed at President Berisha himself.
The population have targeted President Berisha. They held him personally responsible for all the scams, all the pyramid schemes, and therefore they will riot until he's gone. If in fact he doesn't go, if he attempts to impose a military dictatorship, then there will be civil war.
So President Berisha now faces his toughest choice. Accused already by opponents of electoral fraud, he must decide whether to resign in the face of the uprising or to abandon Albania's short experiment with democracy. Adding to the pressure are dozens of Albanian students who are continuing a hunger strike, demanding new elections and pleading for outside help. The wave of violence, with its ever-increasing list of casualties, could plunge Albania into further chaos, for already the unrest is spreading across the towns of the south, and there have also been clashes between crowds of protesters and police in the capital, Tirana. Robert Moore, ITN.
Here, Tony Blair spelt out Labour's budget plans today, saying they'd introduce the windfall tax on privatised utilities within weeks of coming to power. The Conservatives attacked the proposals, but John Major has troubles of his own tonight, with reports of more party infighting over Europe. Here's our political correspondent, Hugh Pym.
Tony Blair was looking beyond the election victory he hopes for to a first Labour budget. The top priority, he said, to get jobless youngsters into work, funded by the windfall levy on the utilities.
That early budget will be the welfare to work budget. The Treasury introducing the first stage of our modernisation programme for the welfare state.
But the Tories claimed his plans revealed Labour's true instincts.
It's the start of tax and spend, and that doesn't give real jobs to real people in a modern economy.
Paddy Ashdown, meanwhile, was telling Scottish Liberal Democrats that the Tories were squabbling amongst themselves like rats in a sack. One senior Conservative appeared to agree with him.
We've really got to stop arguing between ourselves. We cannot have a week like the last week, where Ted Heath criticised and attacked the government, where Norman Tebbit attacked Michael Heseltine. I mean, that simply won't do.
And Tory splits have been highlighted again tonight, with the Sunday Times reporting that some junior ministers are planning to defy government policy and come out against the single currency in their election addresses, all of which will prove a distraction from attempts to attack Labour policies like the windfall tax. Hugh Pym, ITN, Westminster.
2 armed robbers were killed and 15 people were injured when a raid on a bank in Los Angeles turned into a shootout with police. The violence began when the robbers bungled the raid and turned their guns on the bank's customers. Terry Lloyd reports.
The gunmen, protected by body armour, showed no fear as they took on the might of the Los Angeles Police Department. Officers admit they were outgunned and had to go to a local weapons store for more firepower. During the hour-long gunfight, the bank robbers used up hundreds of rounds of armour-piercing bullets.
He must have fired over 500 rounds. Just, I mean, unbelievable. It was like a war zone, and he just kept doing it, and the cops were all pinned down. One of them was bleeding pretty bad.
From helicopters, TV cameras captured the entire drama, which came to an end when desperate police chiefs called in tanks, dogs, and a battering ram.
A firefight occurred that was horrendous.
Eventually, both gunmen were cornered and shot dead, one of them as he fired at police through the windscreen of the car which was shielding him. Officers say that although it felt like fighting against a militia group, there were just 2 organised but brutal bank robbers who'd carried out a series of raids. Terry Lloyd, ITN.
13 crewmen have been airlifted to safety from their blazing trawler in gale-force winds. It happened in treacherous conditions off the Irish coast when fire broke out in the vessel's wheelhouse. The pop group Oasis have called in police to investigate the suspected theft of some of their material. It follows a report that someone has tried to sell a tape alleged to be the next Oasis album to a national newspaper. And Diana, Princess of Wales, has accepted an out-of-court settlement from the Express newspaper over a report about the charity auction of her dresses. The princess has denied its claim that she planned to keep half the proceeds. Thousands of anti-nuclear protesters took to the streets in Germany today in one of the biggest demonstrations seen there. They're angry at plans to transport nuclear waste by rail to a dump site near the city of Lüneburg. From there, Adrian Britton reports.
Few can remember when a rallying call from Germany's Green Lobby has been answered so forcefully. Today, 10,000 anti-nuclear campaigners swarmed on the northern town of Lüneburg, a peaceful rally, in contrast to the clashes between police and protesters who are attempting to stop the nuclear waste train from reaching its storage depot in North Germany. Along the train's intended route, this is a familiar scene. Riot police guarding the track, which has already been sabotaged by Green militants. Police saying they're ready to respond with water cannon if necessary. The sounds are not those of compromise. The protesters want Germany to abandon nuclear energy, which powers a third of the country's electricity supply.
Nuclear energy is just all stuff that makes your health, that kills you.
The marchers are now moving east to Gorleben, where the nuclear consignment is expected to arrive on Monday. Adrian Brisson, ITN, Lüneburg.
Now, today's sports news, and with the details, here's Phil Mepham.
England's dreams of a rugby union Grand Slam are over, ended by a rampant second-half performance by France at Twickenham, which leaves the French hot favourites to take the Five Nations title. Peter Staunton reports.
Twickenham looked the perfect setting for a third victory of the campaign on the way to yet another Grand Slam. And it looked as if the French would once again be trampled underfoot as England piled on the pressure from the first whistle. And yet the surge didn't produce the points, apart from penalties, one of which Grayson missed, which he would normally kick blindfold. But if the backs weren't making inroads, then the forwards would show them the way. Dallaglio sprinting through. At 26, England appeared to be coasting, which is when they mentally switched off. And France were let back into the game thanks to Underwood's half-hearted tackle, which allowed Le Flamand a free run to the line. Worse was to follow. A sweeping run broke England's defences, even Carling helpless at the end as La Maison touched down. Manager Raoul as staggered as his team. La Maison confirmed the victory with a late penalty. For England, the inquests were about to begin.
There's a lot of young players out there in the England team at the moment, a bit short on international experience, and this will have done them good from that aspect, but it's a hard pill to swallow, isn't it?
Desperately disappointed. I think everybody is a game we knew we should have won, really, and we allowed the French back into it, and then once they were into it, they were very, very hard to stop.
For the former captain, Carling, probably his last home international, and one of his most disappointing. Peter Staunton, ITN Sport, Twickenham.
At the other end of the table, Scotland moved off the bottom with a commanding performance against Ireland at Murrayfield. Ireland took the lead after 22 minutes when Dennis Hickey scored his second try of the tournament. But Scotland replied soon after with a try from the former Rugby League international Alan Tate in his first game for Scotland for 9 years. Scotland went into the lead with a penalty and then marched on, Peter Walton with their second of their 5 tries. Manchester United are the 5-2 on favourites to retain the Premiership title after victory over Coventry City. Andy Cole and Karol Poborski were on target as United prepare for Wednesday's European Cup quarter-final with Porto. Goals from Ian Wright and Dennis Bergkamp gave Arsenal a win at Everton to keep their title hopes alive. But there was bad news for Newcastle fans both on and off the pitch. First, Matt Le Tissier scored the only goal of the game at St James's Park for Southampton. And then came a blunt message from their former manager, Kevin Keegan.
I'm really enjoying not having to wake up every morning going to a football club, just as much as I enjoyed doing it in the early years when I was at Newcastle. So I won't go back to St James's. The only time I would think of going back is for Peter Beardsley's testimonial.
So confirmation then of Manchester United's 4-point lead at the top of the Premiership. Arsenal now move into third place above Newcastle. Liverpool play Aston Villa tomorrow. And in Scotland, Celtic closed the gap on Rangers at the top to 5 points after beating Hearts 2-0. Rangers were held to a 2-2 draw at Aberdeen.
Finally, tonight's winning lottery numbers are 2, 8, 23, 33, 42 and 49. The bonus number is 14. Camelot say 20 tickets will share the £8 million jackpot. And that's the news tonight from Phil and me and the ITN Weekend team. Good night.
Hello, good evening. It's been a windy day across much of Britain today and wet with it in the north, and the weather front that's produced that rain will come across southern parts of Britain during the day tomorrow. It means a cloudy spell of weather with rain at times in the south during the morning, but as the weather front continues its journey south and east, so most of Britain will have a mixture of sunshine and showers through the rest of tomorrow, most of the showers in the northwest and the best of the sunshine in the southeast. Now, this is how things have looked on the satellite pictures today. The weather front that's going to cross us has been out to the north and west for most of today, as you can see. Most of the cloud in the north too, the south getting the best of the brighter spells. But this is tomorrow's weather coming in from the north and west, a mixture of sunshine and showers. The rest of tonight then, the rain moving south across much of England and Wales, just a little drizzle in the southeast, and a change to showery conditions in the northwest. Some of those showers wintry on the hills and a blustery night for most of Britain. Tomorrow morning we'll see that rain coming into the south with a mixture of sunshine and showers following to the north, and then during the afternoon the rain will finally clear away from the southeast, and it'll be fairly bright during the afternoon, but blustery and showery across the north. Here's the summary.
Power gen, generating electricity whatever the weather.
I thought you said this place was furnished.
It is.
Clive. Nobody told me you were back. Yeah, well, I should read your memos.
You see, there is something that I've forgotten to mention.
Let me guess. A policeman.
No, I'm a brain surgeon. This is my night off.
A Touch of Frost. Sunday at 8.
On Monday, John Thor returns
My lord.
as Kavanagh QC.
He wants to be found guilty.
Defending the innocent.
Why would that be, Alex?
Weighing the evidence.
I didn't kill her, Mr. Kavanagh.
Using all his cunning.
Don't ring me at home about anything to do with this case.
To search for the truth.
How did Nicholas Meadows die?
A new series of Kavanagh QC, Monday at 8:30 on Meridian.
Well, next we've tense drama based on a true story in our movie Deliver Them from Evil, the taking of Volta View. Here, in one of the world's most advanced